Hey there, welcome to Saturday night, 7 o'clock. It is Cryptids and Conspiracies time. And we, for the first time in a long time, the gang is all here. So let's bring on the usual suspects in the way which they showed up. This guy, he showed up first, so he gets the first
If it's no
introduction.
Scottish,
There you
it's clap!
Hello. Good evening. How is everyone doing?
go. Welcome.
Thank you.
Doing good, doing good. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Nice,
Next
excellent.
one is this ugly galoot. There we go.
Sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
That's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
Welcome to the show, Wookie. Welcome back. Welcome back. This guy we haven't seen in a while. So let me introduce you.
Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.
I'm here to contribute nothing. I'm just here for the free nachos.
Free
nachos?
Again?
No,
Where
who's
are those
at? No free nachos? What?
I-
Nachos?
I-
No free nachos. God damn it.
Okay.
Nachos.
I didn't mind him.
All
Who
right.
is this guy? I've forgotten.
And last but certainly not least, we have the new kid on the block, the guy who is still hazing a little bit. And he's got his brand new introduction. I'm going to introduce it right now. He hasn't seen this, so we'll get his actual
Riveting.
reaction. Here's your bringing you
Will
on,
he
Big
approve?
John.
Truly exceptional. And he had one thing you haven't got.
What's that, sir?
A great big bushy beard.
Come on.
What do you think about that, John? Is that a good one?
That's good. That's good. I like it.
That's a good one.
There you go. Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm a little flat-footed in that I kind of like saw the fringes of this this particular topic, but I hadn't really explored it, or because I've been hearing like kind of like, oh well, this ancient civilization that mankind is buried, but I didn't know that it had a name to it, and so when John mentioned Tartaria, I was kind of like a little bit. I was kind of a little bit like, was it like Atlantis or something like that? And the answer is yes, pretty much. And so I started doing my research, and I was kind of like, everybody is freaking talking about this. How did I not know about this?
Same exact thing
And
with me.
so, go ahead, John.
I said same thing with me. Like when I started saying, a friend of mine mentioned this, everybody's like, "What are you talking about? How do you of all people not know about this?" I was like,
Right.
kind of teased that I didn't know.
Yep. There you go. Got Ghostface saying you. Hello, welcome to the show. And
Hello.
not Brian swing by earlier.
right.
Who's a,
Not Brian, if you're
Not Brian.
one of our frequent flyers. So
Frequent flyer.
all right. Well, I think this is coming up now because of the current shall we say replacement that's going on of European concerns. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
a lot of people
What do you mean?
were saying big hands behind the scenes, and there's a sense that governments don't seem to be handling. Go ahead.
I'm saying, whatever do you mean? I'm
Sorry.
just going big hands pulling
All right.
strings.
Any-
You know, don't mind me. Yeah, I'm just-
Okay.
keep
Right.
going. I'm just illustrating. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, okay. All right. So the current replacement theory, and there's a lot of anything Eurocentric is completely, totally clamped down upon and looked down upon and immediately labeled what, gentlemen? What's it labeled?
Oh, it's a conspiracy theory.
No.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. Also, white supremacy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
White supremacy.
Yeah.
That's
Right. Tartaria is a historical term used in Western European literature, cartography from 13th and 19th centuries to refer to a vast, vaguely defined region in Central and North Asia, including Siberia, Mongolia, and parts of Central Asia. It was not a unified empire, but a generic label for lands inhabited by Turkic and Mongolic associated with the Tartars. Okay, that's that's the quick Wikipedia.
oh well,
But
must be
it's
through
like
that.
recent. Yep. All right.
Must be
Game
through-
over. Game over.
Nothing. It's
And
nothing
Wikipedia
to see
is
here.
Done over.
Wikipedia.
There you go. Hell chat.
Wikipedia.
Hell John. Ha 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 ha. Okay. I'm not gonna say that again.
That's what I
Anyway.
thought.
Right.
I don't.
So modern times, Tartaria has become focal point of a pseudo-historical conspiracy theory. That's a mouthful. Claiming the existence of a lost, technologically advanced global empire, the Tartarian Empire, that was deliberately erased from history. This theory, which originated in Russian pseudoscience in the 70s and 80s, linked to figures like Anatoly Fomenko and Nikolai Levashov, asserts that, the empire once spanned from Afghanistan to Russia, Far East, and beyond. It built iconic structures worldwide, including the U.S. Capitol, the Taj Mahal, Notre Dame de Paris, long before recorded history. A global mud flood destroyed the civilizations. Its history was suppressed by Western powers to conceal its existence. Modern buildings are claimed to be remnants of the Tartarian architecture, also misinterpreted due to their grandeur and age. So, all right. Anyway, key points.
Yeah, again. without-
Tartary was a placeholder term reflecting European ignorance of not a real empire. Okay. Modern conspiracy theories distort historical maps and architecture similarities to support a fictional narrative. Scholars and institutions like the Russian Geographical Society and historians have debunked the theory as a baseless nationalist inspired fantasy. The theory has also gained traction online since 2016, often compared to QAnon. And due to its meme-driven, image-based logic and anti-modernist sentiment. Anti-modernist. Okay. You see all these buzzwords? Anybody catch these
Yeah,
buzzwords?
buzzwords. Modernity.
In short, Tartaria as a lost empire is not supported by, there you go. It's not supported by credible historical or archaeological evidence as a modern myth rooted in pseudoscience and internet culture. Okay.
So I got a question.
There must be
I got a
something to it.
Is the Smithsonian,
Go ahead.
Smithsonian involved?
I was waiting to say it. I was waiting to say it.
Probably. Probably a British museum too. Well, it's like I was saying to Mr. Barab earlier. We've been kind of walking around the edges of this for a while now. One of the features that they talk about is the airships that the Tartarian Empire supposedly had. Hello, good to see you, Comics Embrace. Welcome to the show. But oh, I'm sorry, John said hi.
I'm just saying hello.
All right, so just saying hello. All right, no problem. Anyway, so let me play a little bit on that, talking about the airship thing. Let me see. Where's it at? All right, let's try this.
We marvel at their architecture, their colossal structures, but this was just the beginning. These were buildings that were constructed using their power tools. So what about everything else? We think a drill is advanced, but a smartphone? That's a different level. Imagine if their technology surpassed even that. If they had tools capable of shaping stone like clay, moving tons effortlessly, constructing with precision we struggle to achieve today, then what else were they capable of? Energy systems, transportation, communication devices we can barely imagine. The civilization hints at technologies so advanced we can't even define them. Machines that operate beyond our comprehension. Tools that make our modern tech look primitive. And we already know one thing. They're airships. These weren't simple dirigibles. They could lift massive loads, transport people and materials, and perhaps even operate across vast distances. Imagine building entire cities without cranes. Airships did the work. Energy, propulsion, navigation, even weather manipulation. If they mastered flight at this scale, what else did they know? These airships weren't just tools. They were the veins of a technological civilization, their buildings, their airships, and yet we haven't even glimpsed their true knowledge. Tartaria, a civilization that makes us rethink what we believe is possible.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, follow, and share. Mr. 76 signing out.
Oh, this was the wrong thing. When I suggested Tartaria, I thought it was like Tartar, where the cavity creeps came from. Oh man, I'm not prepared.
I thought it was a video game Tartaria.
Well, we were talking about the Hindenburg. When the Hindenburg disaster happened, we all agreed that we thought it was probably sabotage, and then we were kind of like questioning why that technology was completely abandoned, because it seems like having massive airships floating across the oceans at a leisurely pace might be something that is more enjoyable than being on a ship on the ocean at the whims of the ocean's currents and everything. And it just seems like that would be a more enjoyable way to and it's like the technology is completely totally been abandoned. We get the Goodyear blimp. That's about all we get. And we know the problem with the hydrogen cells was it was the wrong kind of gas, and they fixed that with helium, and yet the technology has never been used again. And so, all right.
Those. Have you ever looked at the Empire State?
We always talk about architecture, history.
The videos I watched.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you ever look at the Empire State Building?
Well, one of the videos that I.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Crow.
One of the videos that I watched actually suggested that the Tartarians harness like the ether for their energy. So since that is kind of just produced, it's like I guess an electromagnetic field or something like that. Then obviously, I don't imagine that current world governments could tax that.
And no, they couldn't.
That's why they did away with it.
Yeah. What about the Empire State Building, John?
Well,
yeah.
The Empire State Building has these forked structures sticking out of it, and they got the little round. those were supposed to be landing docks for dirigibles. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know enough that they actually made it to the Empire State. People got on and off. I don't know, but that was
no, it was being used. It was being used. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen pictures of when it was being used.
But going back to some of the architecture, we did an episode on giants and how we have these architecture that still survive today with huge doors and stuff.
Yeah, these tall doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Right.
Big windows. It's just, it was really ridiculously oversized for, us modern sized humans.
Us wee people.
Yes.
Us
tiny
little people.
Yeah, that's little people.
Well, one of the things
also remember when we were talking about. Go ahead, John.
I can say about Tartaria. One of the things that they always talk about is like mud floods erased all the evidence. When I went to Seattle, I took a tour of the caverns. So Seattle, if you go to the oldest part of Seattle, downtown Seattle, or whatever, all the buildings start on the second floor.
Yes.
So the second floor is if you go into the buildings, you could go down to the first floor, and then I actually took a tour, and you could see all the first floors of the buildings under the ground, and homeless people live there. If you watch the pilot episode of The Night Stalker with Kolchak, the Night Stalker, it took place in the same exact time I'm talking about, because apparently they built Seattle, and then there was some sort of storm and a flood, and it went up 10, 12 feet high. And for months, people actually had to take ladders to get on top of the solid mud and then to cross the street. And eventually they just paved it over and abandoned. So apparently that happened in a lot of places. So this phenomenon of the first story being underground is one of the evidences of Tartaria being erased by these mud floods. I'm just fascinated by that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how far down does New York go?
Oh, well, T-Bunny's asking me this question because I've been showing pictures. I'm an electrician in New York. So anywhere where there's, in the 5 boroughs, anywhere where there's electricity, guys like me have to go. And there's New York goes as deep down as the Empire State Building goes up. I always think that I'm going to see the Morlocks, but right. The lowest point in Manhattan, there's a whole group of workers. They're called sandhogs.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, the sandhogs, they go down, and it's a small union of guys, and it's one of the few of them that are still like mom and pop, father son trades, and they go down. They spend all day on the ground, and they're digging tunnels for subways. For a reservoir, and now they got a huge drill, and they're literally going down in Manhattan and drilling all the way upstate, and because the water system for Manhattan was built around this time of Tartaria, and it's the population of Manhattan was and the 5 boroughs was nothing compared to today, so the water is inadequate, so they're doing it. And there has to be electricity down there, so the sandhogs do a little bit of electrical work because they successfully pushed us out. That's how powerful that union is. But all the supports that go down to where they actually work, we go down. So I'll go down like 17, 18. The deepest I've ever been down was 18 stories. Wow. And I still saw shafts that went down deeper than the eye could see. And I took a series of photographs. One of the photograph that everybody seemed to notice was I'm down. We are way down to the point where it looks like Dungeons & Dragons. There's just dirt around. There's nothing around. There's nothing to indicate civilization, And then there's just a stairway and a door, and the door has a rusty chain on it. And everybody's like, "Yeah, we don't know what's in this door. We don't know."
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so I've always been like, I wonder what's in that. Like I couldn't find my way back there again. You know what I mean? That was 6-7 years ago, and we managed to make like a new tunnel from Penn Station to Grand Central Station. That's what we were doing. So who knows where it is? I wouldn't be. But to answer Cooper's question, there's a whole underground system in New York City, and it's not even a conspiracy theory. It makes sense that we all know about the sewers, we all know about the subways, so we all know that in the 30s there was snowstorms that caused all the power lines to fall down and people got electrocuted. So in the 5 boroughs, there's no power lines. All the power lines are underground. And it's funny because one of my friends argues with me, but I said, you're seeing tension wire. Tension wire is to hold poles up and stuff like that. You're not seeing power lines. And he swears I'm wrong. I'm like, okay. You ever just give up? You're like, okay.
Yeah.
But all that stuff has to be maintained. So there's access tunnels, there's worker tunnels, there's all of this stuff. But there's still tunnels deeper than I've ever gone. 18 stories.
Yeah.
I do know that down below, there's, because they're building a reservoir, there are other workers and they need oxygen. So that's what I imagine I stumbled upon to is one of their oxygen shafts. But if you ever go into New York, it's amazing how in plain sight the access to all these tunnels are. Whenever you just see like a strange door just on the side of the wall, that's an access tunnel to down there. You go to any skyscraper, you go into the loading dock areas where the trucks back in, you'll go in, there'll be like a green door on the side that says no admittance with a lock. That'll take you down. So there's so many entrances.
Wow.
PB says, I built the new subways and the tunnels, Johns. It's all bedrock.
What was you?
Cool. What is your trade? What do you do? Yeah.
So what were you saying, Cruel?
Huh? Oh yeah. I find it odd that civilization so advanced would be wiped out by mud floods. That's I find it odd. That advanced.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked John to bring that up is because it's like every city in America has like layers to it that go like incredibly deep. I mean, into the ground. I mean, we're just stories and stories and stories deep. John says 18 stories down, but I know they've done some echolocation and things like that. Yeah. Well, that's the deepest official. I've heard of them finding places that are even deeper than that. But they were built like a couple hundred years ago. Yep. All solid layers and layers of tunnels. I'm okay. All right. No problem. All right. So the arguments for Tartaria and are basically they're not very organized. It seems like there's a lot of countervailing theories. There's a lot of stuff that goes back and forth. There's not a lot of concrete, a lot of speculation, but there's some logic to it, I have to say. So this video is a little bit longer, but according to YouTube, it won't strike me for it. So I'm going to play it.
Yeah, it's here in fine print.
Allegedly.
Girl,
there we go.
Allegedly.
No. All right. So we'll play it. It's about 7 minutes. We'll find out. But let me
the stream.
Here we
if
go.
we go down, everybody.
We're on
if we
Rumble,
go down,
everybody,
just give us about
wondering.
a minute. Yep. There you go. All right. Here we go.
In recent years, there is a narrative about a country that has vanished from history's pages. A nation that was once well known across the world is now lost in the sands of time. Tartaria, Tartary, or Grand Tartaria has perplexed web academics digging through antique maps dating back to the 15th century. The Tartar Empire is a mystery to historians. The empire was first mentioned in the year 635 by a Byzantine historian, Procopius of Caesarea. He mentions that the emperor of the Tartars had been defeated by Chosroes of Persia, and his son Kavad, Gangu, had been captured. He writes that the emperor's name was unknown, but he knew that he ruled over an empire with many tribes and provinces. He also knew that they were located in what we know as Eastern Europe, Western Siberia, and Central Asia today. What is now known as Tartary is not an easy place to get to from Constantinople, so it is unclear how Procopius got all this information about them, if he never visited these lands himself, or if he did, why he didn't mention. Fasten up and join us as we investigate the beginnings of the mighty Tartarian Empire, proof of a lost empire. Tartarian's existence is founded on 4 pillars. From the mid-13th century through the 19th century, Tartary was a general word encompassing northern Asia, including modern-day Russia, the remains of civilization, according to Tartarian truthers, rather than a general word relating to different people groupings. Another crucial component of this idea is the mudslide. The subterranean window wells and cellar entrances of houses from the period are cited by Tartarian conspiracy theorists. The architectural styles known as Beaux-Arts and Second Empire are the most extensive proof of Tartaria. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, architecture was renowned internationally. Surprisingly, a tendency known as brutalism emerged shortly after these forms, in which buildings were constructed only as utilitarian constructions that were frequently exceedingly boring. According to Tartarian truthers, our civilization was not evolved enough to establish the Beaux-Arts style, so we repurposed these artifacts from an old society. The theory's final edge is constructed by modifying texts from the Christian Bible to suit the theorist's needs. These explanations are a little shaky, but they aid in the development of more imaginative theories. Was the history or Tartaria deleted? According to Wikipedia, Tartaria was a generic word for the Tartars, and Europeans had little understanding of them. But the book written by Giovanni da Pian del Carpine in 1252 contains a considerable study on the Tartars and their kingdom, theoretical levels. The Tartarian legend has numerous levels. The first, nearly common element is that a powerful empire in northern Asia has perished through the passage of time. The second hidden tier is that this empire ruled over the whole planet, establishing a one-world or almost one-world governance. The final level is that this empire was not only vast, but also technically sophisticated. They possess technology unlike anything we can fathom, and society's design demonstrates their enormous capabilities. The variants of the theory are intriguing to say the least. Tartary had its own language, flag, crest, its own emperor, and of course its own people universal language. Tartary, a vast country in the northern parts of Asia, bounded by Siberia on the north and west. This is called Great Tartary. The Tartars who lie south of Muscovy and Siberia are those of Astrakhan, Circassia, and Dagestan, situated northwest of the Caspian Sea. The Kalmyk Tartars, who lie between Siberia and the Caspian Sea. The Uzbek Tartars and Moguls, who lie north of Persia and India. And lastly, those of Tibet, who lie northwest of China. Encyclopedia Britannica. Greek mythology, Tartarus is both a deity and a place in the underworld. In ancient Orphic sources and in the mystery schools, Tartarus is also the unbounded first existing entity from which the light and the cosmos are born. In the Greek poet Hesiod's Theogony, c. 700 BC, Tartarus was the third of the primordial deities, following after Chaos and Gaia, Earth, and preceding Eros, and was the father, by Gaia, of the monster Typhon. According to Hyginus, Tartarus was the offspring of Aetha and Gaia. Roman mythology. In Roman mythology, Tartarus is the place where sinners are sent. Virgil describes it in the Aeneid as a gigantic place, surrounded by the flaming river Phlegethon and triple walls to prevent sinners from escaping from it. It is guarded by a hydra with 50 black gaping jaws, which sits at a screeching gate protected by columns of solid adamantine, a substance akin to diamond, so hard that nothing will cut through it. Inside, there is a castle with wide walls and a tall iron turret. Tisiphone, one of the Erinyes who represents revenge, stands guard sleepless at the top of this turret lashing a whip. There is a pit inside which is said to extend down into the earth twice as far as the distance from the lands of the living to Olympus. Tartarians cover-up. Tartarian researchers claim a slew of incidents as proof of a cover-up campaign for Tartaria's dominion. Most late 19th century battles were viewed as attempts to demolish most of the surviving buildings. Followers also look at World's Fairs from the same time period and infer that the magnificent structures erected for these occasions were not constructed. Instead, these were Tartarian standing buildings. Governments aiming to obliterate Tartaria from history constructed the World's Fair in such a way that they could demolish these structures without raising suspicion. Last words. Tartarians' notion is extremely intriguing. If accurate, it would cast doubt on much of history and modify our perceptions of ourselves. However, many of the reasons in favor of such a society are based on speculation. As fascinating as it would be to have preceded us by a highly advanced race of giants, we need more evidence to support this theory. Questioning is an essential component of research. All major discoveries stem from a desire to learn more. A knowledge that what we know is insufficient, curiosity, and a desire to learn more about issues about which we know little is a positive thing, but it shouldn't lead to haphazard guesswork. That is why the scientific process exists. You double-check facts and data, peer review papers, discuss hypotheses with experts, and have academic conversations. It's quite intriguing to say the least. As a result, we'll leave it up to you to determine what you think of this long-lost kingdom. Stay tuned for more next time. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up icon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications for new videos.
Wow. That's very interesting.
I love those.
All right, we didn't get banned. Except, unfortunately, I was trying to deal with the situation in the chat, and StreamYards had me accidentally ban CamCam.
What?
So Wookie has to go onto his channel and unban CamCam.
Yes,
I apologize. Right, yep. So make sure we take care of that.
How do I be unhide?
Evidently, John, you have some banning to do on your channel.
Welcome to the show,
linked, but, you know.
Oh, you banned somebody and it's on my channel?
Yeah, no, I was looking to ban somebody who's being rude on your channel, and StreamYards banned CamCam instead. So because I can't, evidently, I don't have
I can open up YouTube
administrate. Yeah. Anyway,
welcome,
you got somebody that's like trashing you over there, so I'll just ignore them the rest of the time. I don't mind people. Okay, you'd have to go on your channel and do it, I guess. But
yeah,
anyway.
I'm on my channel right now, but it's not letting me.
Okay.
Hey, I love these videos with the slow talking and the ominous music. But
I don't know. I don't think she's on mine, or he or she.
Yeah, he actually was on my channel in my chat.
Okay.
But
all right.
I don't have one, so.
Well, they're not on mine. They're not on mine.
Yeah, he's on mine, but I can't.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
after the stream.
All right. My apologies to CamCam. I was just trying to take care of something. Somebody being rude. I don't mind people having a negative. This is garbage or whatever. But if they go after people in particular, that's when I'll ban. But anyway,
not cool.
It's no point, no place for that.
Yeah, that's not good. Why in the heck?
So anyway,
I don't know.
John evidently has fans. I'll just say that much. Anyway, all right. So, I like that particular video. Out of all the ones I watched, I like that one because it was presenting. Okay, this is why people think this existed. This is their point, and this is why a lot of people think it's bunk. And so, we've seen like the ideas for. So here's a couple negative ones, because we're just looking at facts here. We're just looking at the evidence. And this is a guy, Lore Lodge. He didn't do a whole video on it, but he did comment on it.
You heard of this crazy theory that there was this global civilization
we've used his videos
was wiped out and erased from
before.
history.
God, I wish he was going to say Atlantis, but he's going to say Tartaria. So here's the thing that you need to understand when you come across old maps. The terminology we use today is not the terminology that was used 100, 200, 300 years ago. Half the countries that exist today didn't exist at the beginning of the 20th century. For example, you might look at Italy and think, oh my god, it's thousands of years old. It goes back to ancient Rome. In reality, Italy didn't unify until the 1860s. So when you look at an old map from, say, 1850 and you see Great Tartaria, what you're seeing is not a country known as Tartaria, you're seeing the domain of the Tartars. The Tartars were a nomadic horseback riding people from the Central Asian steppe, much like the ancient Scythians or the Huns. They even have modern counterparts in groups like the Cossacks. But the territory wasn't formally ruled by any recognized country until the Russians actually annexed it in the 1800s.
I saw that video a couple of weeks ago, if I remember.
Okay, Cam actually can post, so I think I fixed it. Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
Hello, Cam.
Right.
Welcome back.
Sorry, Cam.
Got you.
Sorry, Cam.
That was my fault.
I got you fixed, so you're good now. Yep. Awesome.
Right. No big deal. No big deal. But anyway, so basically, one thing about this show that we try to do is we try to be as intellectually honest as we can be. And so we don't just start with like, oh, that's bullshit. You know, we try to figure out why we would consider it. So, okay,
I smell shite.
Yeah.
There you go.
Shite. I smell
All
shite.
right. So welcome back, Cam. Welcome back. There you go.
Yes, Cam. Welcome.
And
sorry about that.
And yeah, the point is being made in the chat. I'm not going to bring it up. They lost their privileges for me to do that, but I agree that that video is just basically everything I'm looking at is pretty much almost pure speculation. Has anybody seen anything with it's like, but there are some things that I think the questions that are brought up are legitimate. Okay. First of all, Tartars for hell on wheels working armor supplied pretty much decimated there. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Cam. But the things that we do know, and I always like to start at what we do know. We do know that mankind's architectural ability has fallen off a cliff. Man's current architecture ideal is Obama's library. That brutalist architecture that took over. You know, you see, it's like the difference between the Empire State Building Trade Center, which was basically glass and steel, but it didn't really have any. Sorry, am I back? Okay, it didn't have glass and steel. I mean, it was just glass and steel. But you see the Empire State Building, and the Empire State Building has like spires. It has archways. It has and all sorts of technology, or all sorts of architectural elements to it. And it was built in an extraordinarily short amount of time, considering that it was basically all steel girders, riveted together, and it was built in an extraordinarily short amount of time. And so, oh no.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at the.
Go ahead, Girl.
I was going to say that if you look at some of the old cathedrals, you know, some of those old cathedrals, those massive cathedrals, those massive palaces, they look so beautiful. But if you look at something now, it looks like it's a square. It's a square. It's a rectangle. It's great.
Yeah.
It looks like shit. Soulless.
Right.
Well,
right.
What
were you saying, John?
One of the things that all these Tartar guys are saying is like, I forget the exact location, but you go out to like Wyoming, and then like, oh, we just founded Wyoming, and then like within 15 years they have this beautiful big structure, you know, that's like the post office or the town hall and everything like that. And all I got to say is, back then there was no like government regulations. You know, people could build things. You didn't have. I think all this bureaucracy and everything just hampers everything. And like right now in my construction, like the insurance companies rule everything. You can't step on a lift. You got to fill out a form. Oh my! It's so frustrating. In my hometown of Baldwin, there's these two huge. I call it the Argonaut, but it's these two buildings. They're the oldest two buildings, and they look like straight out of Tartaria, you know. And then everything else is just box stores and glass and steel and everything. But they keep these. I guess they're landmarks. But that doesn't mean it was built by a old civilization, you know. And when I worked down by the World Trade Center 20 years ago, I was looking at all of these cool stone buildings, and a lot of these buildings people didn't get to see the roofs of, you know. And now that they made taller skyscraper type of buildings, so now I'm on like the 20th floor looking down at an 18-story building. I could see the roof, and I could see these gargoyles and sculptures, and they're just so beautiful. And obviously they don't make them anymore. And so I started getting interested in it, and I found out that there's the stone workers. We don't even have American stone workers that could repair some of these buildings. We literally they'll call to Italy and get. So it seems like aliens to people today, because I call these videos an argument from ignorance. Like, you don't know how the pyramids were built, so you say it was aliens. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't do research. You're not an engineer. You're not like the funniest argument from ignorance I've ever seen is, I forget the name of the astronomer, but he pointed a telescope at Venus, and Venus's cloud cover obscured everything. So he's like, oh, it's got clouds. So he literally couldn't see the surface of Venus. So he says, if there's clouds, that means there's moisture. And if there's moisture, there's a lot of water. If there's a lot of water, there's a lot of life. And if there's a lot of life and all this moisture, then it could support gigantic life. So it's got to be like dinosaurs. So my observation was nothing. Conclusion, dinosaurs. And that seems to be like, and I'm a conspiracy guy. I love all the conspiracies. I believe none of them, but I love them all. So it's like, you look at the pyramids. I don't know how it's built, so I'm going to filter everything through my ignorance. It's got to be aliens. So, like this guy said, I saw these old maps that say Tartaria on them. I also saw old maps that said Atlantis. I also saw old maps that said High Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the older the maps, the more inaccurate they are. And then one of my things, I try to get like encyclopedias from the 30s if I ever see them, and open them up and see all the differences. You know, it's old information built by, you know, with you know, the ancient Greeks thought like hippogriffs were real and stuff. You know what I mean? And then we move on. So they filled in Tartaria because, like I said, there were nomadic barbarian. Barbarian's probably a mean word, but there were nomadic tribes. We gave them this. The map is all distorted, so they got this long thing. And then there's these huge buildings that aren't built anymore, and it seems alien and bizarre. And it's most likely the obvious answer is the most boring answer: regulations and the way we build things as insurance companies. Well, it's too expensive to build these beautiful buildings anymore, you know. And plus, skyscrapers could go up taller.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my counter question is, are we capable of still building these buildings, even if we're allowed to by the insurance gods that be?
Yeah,
Will we be able to even replicate this?
Yeah,
because
we can.
There's buildings in LA, like the LA, like I guess the courthouse, and there's also another building in LA that's beautiful. It's like rotunda, and it's got like elements in it that they can't repair. And so, you know, I'm there are some things. Let me show some stuff right quick. Like
for an electrochemical device that transforms chemical energy into electrical energy, you need an anode and a cathode. By other means, a positively charged electrode and a negatively charged electrode. When you place them in electrolyte solution, ions flow between the electrodes, generating electricity. I'm interested in the word cathode. The cathode is the negative pole of an electric current. It comes from the Greek word kathodos, meaning descend or going down. Interestingly, the word cathode resembles cathedral. Cathedral comes from the Greek word cathedra, meaning down, and hedra, seat or base. Notice something? Ancient architecture and the concepts of anode and cathode. And then there's the magnificent rose window issue. Don't they look similar to a magnetron? A magnetron is a device that creates a magnetic field and emits electromagnetic energy. Ancient architecture, right? Or were these buildings used as etheric power plants in ancient times?
No. Where's the proof? Well. They look like something, so therefore they are something.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I do think that when you see how there you go. But I do think when you see how Nikola Tesla
it's like seeing shapes
was treated.
It's like seeing shapes in the clouds. Go
ahead.
Like shapes in the clouds, that kind of thing. Shapes in the clouds. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a lot of information.
Here's another debunker, right quick.
The Tartarian Empire conspiracy is one of the dumbest conspiracies on the internet, and Gubba Homestead is the latest influencer to weigh in on the discussion. In this video, she says that she collects old books that make her question the narrative. She shows us pictures of old buildings and says, and I quote, "You want to tell me these buildings are made of horse and buggy, hammer and chisel?" She also questions who really built the Great Wall of China, then rambles on about Tartaria for a while and insinuates that they are involved somehow. All of this, like everything else about the Tartarian Empire, is obviously complete rubbish. First of all, this building in your book right here is the Illinois State Capitol building, which is actually still there. It was built in 1888 after 20 years of construction and was designed by John Cochrane and George Garnsey. 1888 is funny it was finished then because according to the Tartarian theory, the Tartarian Empire would have already fallen by then as it disappeared from maps in the 1850s. So unless the Tartarians built this after they were all dead, they had nothing to do with it. Also, that old book you're holding was written in 1918, by the way. JFK was born before that book was published. 1918 is also decades after the Tartarian Empire were allegedly wiped from my history books, so either they weren't wiped from history like you claim, or they're not mentioned in the book at all. And saying we built this with hammers and chisels is like saying we built this with spanners and screwdrivers. We had telephones, railroads, transcontinental steel ships and electric cars by 1888. So trust me, they had more advanced things than hammers and chisels laying around. It's strange how you don't mention any of that in your video. And finally, there is the Great Wall of China claim. There is a claim that the Great Wall of China faces the wrong way. This is not true. Most of the battlements on the Great Wall of China actually do face the north. There are battlements on the southern side of the wall, but there are two main reasons for this. The first one is the wall was built in sections and not in one go, so there were gaps along the border. So if they didn't have defences on the back, it meant armies could round the wall and attack them from the inside. The second reason there's battlements on the inside is it cuts off the retreat of any escaping armies. Also, it took over 1,000 years to build the Great Wall of China. So if it was built by the Tartarians and they were as high-tech as you'd have us believe, then what the hell took them so long?
I think what we have is we have evidence of not necessarily advanced technology, but definitely some sort of lost techniques, skills, an awareness of how to manipulate materials like stone to make it do what you want. I mean, it there's not like, they didn't have laser guns and shit and flying around in spaceships, in the 17 and 1800s, but they probably had a lot of knowledge that we don't have now, just because of it was kind of like dropped, kind of like what John was saying about, now they can go higher with a building when they're using steel and stuff like that versus stone, and then of course all the flipping regulations that they want you to follow as well, and so it's crazy.
They're not going to take 20 years to build a courthouse or a post office, or it's quicker, it's stronger structural to do these boring looking skyscrapers. It would be cool to have these huge. There's a huge Tartarian-esque, I don't even know what it is. I think it's the courthouse by Penn Station, and it looks like right out of Harry Potter or something. It's so cool. I can only imagine how long that took, and and then how long it took the guys to chisel and cut and everything. Or you could get 20-foot pieces of steel, rivet them in, get the crane to throw on the slabs on the side, and you can have the building done relatively quick.
Yeah.
And now,
in certain
well,
trades,
I think there's a one good explanation. Go ahead, Abby. Go ahead.
No, I mean, go right on with John and Wookiee's summation. We, over time, we have lost certain skilled trades that were around and prevalent back, centuries ago. A mason now isn't what a mason was then. I mean, a mason actually chiseled and carved things out of stone. A mason now does not do that. He really, lays brick and things of that nature, and cutting things and making shapes out of that. But he doesn't sit there with a hammer and chisel and create a gargoyle.
Sit there and create a gargoyle for.
My uncle was a carpenter, and he moved out from out west. He got a job as a union carpenter in New York, and he lasted a year and a half because a union carpenter in New York puts up sheetrock.
Right.
This is a guy. He built cabin. You should have seen his house. It looked like the Hobbits lived. He carved wood. He took a pay cut and went back to making cabinets and things like that, chairs and tables for people. He's like, that's
you just hit on something. You just hit something on something that I was going to bring up. I think the reason why we fell off as a people, and you see this indicative of in Russia itself, is communism, and part of communism is the unions, and so the unions made everything astronomically expensive, and they also have gummed up the works in a lot of other different ways. And so I think a lot of what we saw, basically, they had to start cutting corners because of the unionization and having to deal with the unions and everything like that. And you saw what communism did to Russia. Before communist Russia, they had minarets. They had St. Petersburg. They had these glorious edifices. And then after communism, they had brutalist architecture. Which is basically, bare bones. Everything has to be contracted down to, everything's corrupted. Everything's built with funds and things like that from the government, and everything had to be run through all the corruption before it could even. Anyway, and so I think honestly. The falling of mankind, and I think one thing that communism does is communism discourages individual achievement.
Oh, of course.
And communism, it basically suppresses anything beautiful. It suppresses anything individual. It suppresses anything, any achievement that's not controlled by the governmental apparatus. And because you achieving makes somebody else feel bad, the communist ethos means that you have to be brought down to their level. You have to stop achieving because this person can't achieve what you achieve. And so everything gets whittled down to the lowest common denominator.
It's not even
And,
that. It's simpler than that. Communism is forget free will, forget individuality. The group decides. So I put out a tweet the other day, and I said, who would be interested in collaborating for Crisis on Independent Earths? And my concept is like all of us who make independent comics, we all to get together. And man, did my messages blow up of people like, you know how difficult that would be? I would do it. And I said, yeah, I have ground rules, but I'm not even going to get into it until I find out if anybody's interested. Now, just imagine, I want to make this comic, and since it's my idea or whatever, unless you have a better idea, I'll be the main guy and we'll all work together. But just imagine if that was a true collaborative group effort where everybody had equal decisions. It'll be a mess. It'll be garbage. And that's what communism really did. Like,
well, there was something in the chat here that kind of kicked in my head. They were talking about, if workers and bosses just got along, we wouldn't need the middleman unions. Well, I think it's the middleman unions that are dividing the workers and the bosses. I think if we got rid of that middleman, I think the workers and the bosses would get along.
They would have to.
Yeah,
they would have
it
to.
Depends.
They'd be forced to, maybe.
It depends. I've worked in a union shop, and then I've worked, in non-union places, and it really depends. The only thing the difference is with the union is that you lose a chunk of your check to your dues, whereas
paycheck.
You're not a union
whether
shop,
you work or not.
Yeah, you don't lose an extra chunk. But in my opinion, because my father worked in, frickin' union construction, not construction, but heavy duty mechanic in an iron ore mine. And so that was union, but it made sense because the union negotiated for medical insurance and different things like that, and benefits and better working conditions because you're in a fucking mine digging out iron ore. So it made sense then because if you got injured or something like that, and it also prevented from workers being injured. Yeah, I know it's a little bit extra steps, but it made sense in a safety aspect. Whereas if you're working in a union shop and it's a freaking grocery store, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little difference. I'm
in a union, and I'm not going to say anything bad about the union, but they serve a time and a place. Like
they do.
First off, I'm anti any public. Like the police, the teachers don't need unions. These are permanent positions. Comic book companies don't need unions. Like a union is like a work for hire job. Like I go to a job, the building gets built or whatever gets, and then I'm out of work. Do I make a resume and go door to door and knock all over it? No, I go to a hall. They call for us. We go back, but then the hall has to make sure that I have all my certifications. Things like, to me, that's what the union does, and I think it's great. And let's be realistic. We see these construction sites where there is no unions. These guys literally fall, get hurt, and they're rushed off the job site, left. I'm not I'm exaggerating slightly for comedy purposes, but I think the main culprit.
You do have to admit, though, they do. Go ahead.
I was going to say the main culprit is regulation, government regulation, insurance companies, and the fact that steel skyscrapers are better structurally. These, it's amazing. The reason why these beautiful cathedrals are still existing is that they're not earthquake places. I mean, Italy, there's a lot of damage to those buildings, but Italy is one of the few places where they have the skills of these stonemasons to repair them.
Exactly.
But I wonder if look at Notre Dame, just went on fire now. They repaired it different.
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't look the same.
Again.
You know,
No.
you know, the what I call the Argonaut and Baldwin, these two, the coach, they're actually the Koch buildings. These, if they were to break, they would get like, probably get like a plaster repair that would last every couple of years. I was working in the Merchant Building, 10, I always forget the address, but it was the original headquarters for Marvel Comics. They had these non-union guys repairing the facade of the building, and it's one of those buildings with the gargoyles, and it's really cool looking and everything.
wow.
You got to see the hack job that they're doing. And now I don't think it's because they're union, non-union, or whatever. I just don't. They didn't want to pay for the level of skill to repair a building of that age, and you know.
Oh,
but they can fix a steel girder skyscraper. You know, it's steel glass. You know, I'm working at LaGuardia Airport. It's all modern, slick, and everything. It's just easier, quicker, and let's face it, Company A needs an airport. We need an airport. We're not going to spend 20 years building an airport anymore. You know,
well, I think what we're the difference is what we're talking about is collectivism as opposed to
collectivism
as opposed to worker protection. You know, the worker protection good. Collectivism
100%
bad.
Communism destroyed all the art and everything in every level. I almost said Florida in Russia. But what I'm saying these Tartar countries, the fact that they don't understand that those buildings are enormously expensive, they take enormous amounts of time to build. For what? For a post office in Mesquite, Illinois? It's just, you know, you could get a team of 40, 50 guys and build a post office in Mesquite, Illinois over the course of a summer nowadays with different tools and different materials. Let's face it, these skyscrapers are also not designed to last 100 years. Like when we're building, like right now, this airport that we're building, we all know that they're going to be taking it apart in 18 to 20 years and doing something else with it. It's all of the stuff is good for now. You know,
it's good for now.
in case we don't know, the whole Tartaria thing is the funniest. It's up there with Our Birds Are Real as far as like ridiculousness.
Come in, B Dog.
Well, my thing is
okay. So, all right, I'm gonna proffer a theory. Oh, go ahead, Wiki. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say my opinion is, my theory is that it's based on lost knowledge, because it's just like anything. When something new comes along, quote unquote modern, whatever stage of the last 200 years it's been something better, meaning better is quicker, okay, more economical. And I think that's what we're looking at. A lot of these things that were built 200 years ago or something like that, out of stone. It's like what John said. You're not going to spend 20 freaking years, you know, building a cathedral or an airport. So the materials and processes became streamlined, quicker, in that respect, better, more cost effective because it took less time, and they could construct it in a manner that's repairable with those same materials. And so basically, like what Abby said was, you know, it's just lost knowledge because, you know, of those things. It's just, you know, we don't have that knowledge anymore. I was going to use the example of the H blocks in Pumapunku, Peru, which were buried under frickin', you know, dirt and mud and shit, and they still haven't fully excavated it, but they were cut in such a manner that for technology of whatever they're guessing that was made, it didn't exist. They polished rock with extremely accurate, in some cases, razor sharp 90-degree angles in like granite, or, you know, something like granite, and they're polished. And even some of these architects are saying that they studied all these H blocks, are saying, man, we can't really, it's hard for us to duplicate that. So it's some kind of knowledge that was like completely erased from our, libraries and stuff. It just.
So I got a question. Do we know if there were any Tartarian parkour union workers?
That's a very, very important question. Perhaps the most important question of the show.
The parkour union is very strong.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Just checking.
They found they were building. I forget exactly.
Meanwhile,
they were building. I somewhere in one of the countries north of Italy. I forget the exact country, but they were draining a lake, and they found a Byzantine trireme, a boat, and it was a merchant vessel, and it had clay with oil. They had clay urns with oil in it, and of course the silks and stuff like that were destroyed, but anything trapped it, and the oil was still good. It was so well preserved, but the ship itself, they said it was cabinetry. It was fit together with a minimal amount of nails, and then in certain places the wood itself was put together. They put some sort of spark. That's lost. Does that mean it's aliens? Does that mean that?
Yeah.
But we're smart enough now. If we get people with the time and the inclination, we could study it and copy it. But that's a luxury,
Yeah.
Who among us, only like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk has the money to build one of these Tartarian-esque buildings?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when I was an apprentice electrician, I learned how to cut and splice fiber optics, and it was like a cool job because you get a chair, you sit down, you get the splice, you got to cut it, you got to polish everything, you got to glue it, and then you got to look through a scope to see the light. Because if you didn't polish it correct enough and you glue it, then that splice is going to obscure the message going through, and the light's not going to. Oh, it was so good. For whatever reason, I was good at it. I was finally good at something, and within 2 years, they use something else. So, technology changes. Technology changes constantly.
Yes, it does.
I'm on a job now. I was with one shop for 7 years. I'm on another shop now, and they got to teach me things because they specialize in something else. But things are constantly changing, and things are changing. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think things are changing faster now than ever. Technology's coming and technology's going. Do you think anybody could go?
I'm going to say doubt here. I'm going to doubt on that.
No. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to argue that.
All right, let me try to land this plane.
Okay.
Yeah, let me try to land this plane.
He's going to land the Hindenburg.
Okay.
The only evidence of the Tartarian
cars are flying the damn plane.
The only existence of the Tartarian Empire is the continued existence of tartar sauce. That is the only way.
Yes, tartar sauce. Damn it.
There you go. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
All
right. All right. B-Dog actually said something useful. Right. There you go. Anyway.
What?
Okay. So this is my theory. My theory that kind of covers the whole thing. All right. Mankind has degenerated as a people. I think we can all agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, in some shape or form, there's things like there's things that are kind of like obscured, that's been kind of wrapped up in this whole Tartarian mythos, like the giants and some other stuff like that, which we have already covered on our show, has been covered up. The bones have been removed, and there's very clear indication that giants once walked the earth, and that is a biblical thing, but it's also backed up by proof. And we also have the proof that that knowledge was like taken away by the Smithsonian, British Museum, and other apparatuses. Okay, we also see a lot of technologies that have been suppressed, kind of like the airship thing. And we also see things in ancient buildings that we no longer have the knowledge to do. And so all of this has been kind of wrapped up in this this aberration on the maps, a Tartarian Empire or whatever. That there was a place called the Tartar.
Well, I heard the Tartarian Empire
and so basically,
it's making a comeback, and now it's the Retardary Empire, and it's really successful.
Yeah, the Tartarian Empire is definitely happening. But anyway, so I think basically what we're seeing here is we're seeing a whole bunch of mythologies or a whole bunch of what we're seeing is the deterioration of mankind's skill gap. Because my theory is because of the influx of communism, which would fit the timeline. And also, we're also seeing all these things being suppressed out of history, which we know is happening. Smithsonian, British Museum, and other apparatuses. We've called them red-handed multiple times doing this stuff. We also know that the ancient world, that there's things in the ancient world we can't explain. And we also know that these maps had a big region in them called Tartar, older maps. And the region was called this. And so all these separate conspiracy theories have been kind of wrapped up in anyway, all these theories have been kind of wrapped up into one nice bow and taken underneath the auspices of this one theory. It's kind of like the unified theory of the universe for conspiracy theories. And so I think what we're looking at is we're looking at a whole like legitimate conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories where definite meat on those bones, but those particular conspiracy theories do have legitimacy. There's meat on those bones. There is something there that you can hang a hat on. But this unifying theory of a place called Tartaria, I am not seeing anything but speculation for that. And so I think if we separate off all these other conspiracy theories that do have legitimacy, and so those things I do see some proof of, but this overarching umbrella of Tartarian Empire, I'm not personally seeing any meat on it. I'm not personally seeing any kind of proof of that. So I'm going to say debunked myself. So what say? I'm going to go clockwise. So what do you think, Wookie?
Well, what if we think about it this way? What if the concept of Tartaria was just architectural? Like, mid-century modern, whatever, like what the heck's the one? It escapes me right now. It's very popular. It's not Gothic. It's like the Chrysler Building. John, what kind of style is the Chrysler Building?
Art Deco, or
there we go. Yeah, like Art Deco. Maybe Tartaria is more akin to a style of architecture and different things. Maybe, that's why it's all they claim it's all over the place. Well, shit, you can find Art Deco all over the place too. Maybe it's something like that. I'm going to be in the middle personally. I'm in the middle. There's a lot of questions, but
so you think there's you think there's some legitimacy to the Tartarian Empire itself?
There has to be something to it. I don't think it's like this worldwide thing, but there had to be something. I mean, there's too many questions.
Well, what we're debating is, did the Tartarian Empire did it actually
Okay, so
exist?
the Tartarian Empire. Yeah, I'm gonna say in the middle. I'm gonna be on the fence on this one.
Okay. All right, Cruel, what do you think, my friend?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of like Wookie on this. I'm kind of in the middle. It would not surprise me in the least that it existed and it was scrubbed from history.
Mm-hmm.
We see these kind of things all the time. But as you say, there's not really a lot of meat on those bones. Not really. So
Okay.
maybe the arc. Maybe.
All right.
the style-
What do you think, Abby?
Go
ahead.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle because I hadn't heard of Tartaria until tonight.
Yeah,
I don't see any evidence for it, and I don't see any evidence, for it. There's not enough there in my eyes to go either way.
Okay.
I think a lot of it too is a lot of our history has been scrubbed and been lost. We don't have.
All right. So that's
I'm in the middle.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm in the middle.
Okay. All right. Cruel, I'm sorry we cut you off there, man. Finish your thought.
It's perfectly fine. No, it's just there's not a hell of a lot there to substantiate whether the empire existed, although it wouldn't be surprising if it did. History is getting deleted all the time, and it could very well be lost arts. Just simple as that. Lost arts, as Wookie said and Abby said, the architecture, that kind of thing, because we're losing that kind of creativity all the time.
Okay.
My thing is too, like the libraries.
All right.
We don't have the Library of Alexandria. It's gone to time. It's missing. Everything's in that was missing. That could have answered thousands of questions that we have in this day and age.
Right.
Not there.
All right, John. What are you thinking, my friend?
I think there's a whole bunch. So far, all the evidence is just like circumstantial. Okay, like I talked about Seattle, the building started the second. There was a flood there. It happens a lot. It happened. It happened, especially when the first settlers were just guys who just were looking for gold. They went near a river. They built a town. The town grew, and there was a flood. That doesn't mean Tartaria. Then these big, beautiful buildings that we see all over the world. That was the stuff. We also see skyscrapers all over the world. Just like everything else, there's fashions and clothes and music and architecture and everything. But what's more easy to believe, that there's a worldwide conspiracy to suppress an advanced civilization, or these buildings that just take too long and they're too expensive to build? And since we don't use those techniques anymore, those skills aren't in use anymore. And then what's the other? Ancient old maps. Old maps have a lot of names that don't, whatever happened to the Prussian Empire? Oh my God, it was suppressed, because I don't know about it. So therefore, I'm going to fill in. And then another thing is that there's two more points I'm going to make. Is human beings are hardwired to look for patterns. It helps us survive. We are hardwired, and I think conspiracy theories. I'm a conspiracy theory guy, but I also try to recognize, is it just my pattern recognition sense going off? And they want it to be true or whatever. They see a pattern, and I think the schools are no good, so people aren't taught critical thinking anymore. People are taught emotionality. And then the last thing is, we are a victim of our own success. Right now, most of our problems in the world is because at least the first world, we're not starving to death. You know what I mean? Like, we look at this corrupt government. Like, if this was the 1800s, we found out about these Epstein files, we would be loading the muskets and fighting.
Oh yeah.
But right now, things are good. You know what I mean? I got a room full of comic books. I got board games over here. I got a bag of Doritos. I'm talking. I'm not going to risk all of that. But
you got a Doom mask in the back with your Captain America shield.
You know what I mean? Like,
you got it going on.
Because of that, I don't have to struggle as much as my grandfather did or my great grandfather did. And I think like the ancient Greeks, they invented everything because they came from a harsh environment where like every other kid died. They were constantly fighting crop failure, invasion from the Phoenicians or whoever, or what, the Persians or whatever. These people had hard lives, and that favored intelligence. Nowadays, you got an idiot with some idiot girl, and they have 7 kids, and we're all paying for it because if they're on welfare. We're kind of promoting like idiocracy, as my wife always says.
Yeah. Yep.
And then these idiots get on the internet and they see a pattern because they're still humans that are hardwired to recognize patterns. And that sounds cool. And let's face it, nobody trusts the government. So mistrust of the government. We're not as we used to be. Pattern recognition, and we fill in the blanks. That's what we do. That's why comic books work. When we draw a panel, we see a torso. Our brain fills in the legs. That's not there. You know what I mean? And that's it. So I don't think there's a Tartaria. Yes, there's a place called Tartaria. There's these nomadic Tartaria, but there wasn't this H.G. Wells empire of flying wonderful apparatuses like Numenor in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I wish there was. That would be cool. But my grandmother was alive in the 1870s.
Okay, so
well, she's dead now, but
so basically you're saying like me, we're seeing the drift of mankind, the corruption of governments, and the basically the decline of our skill gap, and all those things together do not necessarily equate this empire that once existed that's been buried or covered up.
The biggest proof that we're getting stupid is I saw a tweet
we're in agreement on that one. But so we got 2 votes. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was going to say the biggest proof of how stupid we are is I saw a tweet that says we don't need farmers, we have DoorDash.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't.
I think our education system for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sending kids out to a protest, legitimate government agency into a busy intersection gets them run over by cars, evidently. Anyway. All right. So let me check on my YouTube. Let me see what my if you haven't voted yet, make sure you do so.
If you haven't voted, please vote on Bunny's channel or my channel if you're my chats. Looks like the voting has been pretty active over here. So you're gonna shut yours down, Bunny?
Okay. Yeah, I've got 2 up and at 'em. Okay, hold on. So I have 4 votes on my my vertical. 1 in the middle, 2 confirmed, 1 debunked. So that's 3 debunked, 3 in the middle, and 1 confirmed on that poll. And then I got my and they're in the middle, so that's adds and in the middle there. Okay. All right.
You ready, buddy?
Okay. So it looks to me. What is your save?
I got 5 total votes. We have 1 for debunked, 1 for confirmed, and 3 for in the middle.
Well.
Okay.
Pretty active.
All right. So obviously, in the middle is going to take it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Today. Let me see.
Looks that way.
Sorry, Bunny, missed too many episodes. Mrs. Good Stuff. That's okay, Mrs. Good Stuff. We haven't done many episodes lately. You haven't really missed a lot. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But I do have to take care of something first.
Another thing I just thought of is none of these conspiracy theories explain why this great advanced civilization just fell. It just fell because of mud.
Just stopped.
Exactly.
I mean, like, you and I say this every time I'm on this show, is like great claims require great evidence.
Right.
So where are these ships? Like, where's
the wreckage?
Where's the wreckage? Where's the debris? Could any, we got a lot of science right now. Could Elon Musk or those guys, why are they building the SpaceX when can't they figure out how to make these maglev, things? You telling me if Elon Musk developed a cathode anode cathedral that could generate free electricity, that guy wouldn't be triple the wealth that he has right now?
But then again, Tesla had this figured out since Wardenclyffe.
I was waiting to say.
And Westinghouse, J.P. Morgan knocked him down because it was going to be free. Yeah. Free? What do you mean free?
It was also going to kill everybody at a 100-mile radius through radiation and microwaves.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought
there's a reason why Tesla's thing didn't work.
I just thought
Go ahead,
the fancy flying machines and whatnot that they're supposed to have had. Why didn't they just take off as the mud floods were flooding the cities, and then we would have an actual historical account of it? Oh yes, the mud flood came and it was really terrible, and we barely got out alive.
But it's amazing that the mud flood didn't take out Europe, these are targeted mud floods. So I mean,
right? They're racist.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Florida has hurricanes every year, and they manage to rebuild.
Yeah, they can't kill those meth heads.
Right?
They're like cockroaches.
Well,
in defense, have you ever fought a meth head? Those guys.
All this could be explained. Well, all this could also be explained with the antediluvian flood. If there's there were civilizations before the flood, and they're just that's what they're talking about. That the actual flood itself.
Yeah, I mean.
But anyway, so that would require
floods 6,000 years ago are much more devastating than floods now. But these buildings that exist in Muskegon, Illinois, and in Europe, they're not 6,000 years old.
They're not that old.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to play this.
Okay.
Yeah. So evidently, while there's not a lot of concrete evidence of a Tartarian empire, there's not enough proof against it to debunk it enough that people were willing to say that there's no way it could have happened. Which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. Like I said in this show, we try to be intellectually as honest as we can be, and this result, me and John disagree with, but majority of the polls in the chat and these gentlemen believe it's in the middle, and so in the middle carries the day, and so I'm not putting my thumb on the scale. So that's our conclusion. Tartarian Empire evidently is possible and not debunked. So moving on from this one, we're going to I'm going to try to. We're going to get a show up next week because we missed last week on my screw up. The snows and the unexpected house guest kind of got me distracted. So my proposal for next week is the conspiracy to debunk the Shroud of Turin. Was an actual conspiracy to debunk the Shroud of Turin? That's my suggestion for next week. Is that okay with everybody?
Juicy.
Sure.
That sounds juicy. Yep.
If anybody has a better topic, speak up now.
I don't think so.
No.
Anyone? Okay. All right. Now, so next week, we're going to talk about the conspiracy to debunk the Shroud of Turin. We now know a lot more about it, and
so let me ask you: like, was there did people know it was real, and then these people tried to tell other people that it wasn't real? Is that what you're talking about, or just the Shroud of Turin in general? Because when you saying
we've already done one on the Shroud of Turin in general.
Okay.
The conspiracy to debunk it. Okay. Whether or not the Shroud of Turin is real or not, we're not going to go into that. We're going to go into the fact that there was a concerted effort.
Make sure. Okay.
I think there was a concerted effort to manipulate scientific results.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the determination we're going to make is, was it organized or was it just confirmation bias on the part of the scientists that attempted to do this? Do we think that there was money behind it? Do we think that there was a collaboration? Do we think there was a conspiracy to debunk the Shroud of Turin? Whether or not the Shroud of Turin is real or not, it's not going to be in question here. We already covered that. And we believe it is real. At least it's so scientifically inexplicable that there's something to it. So we believe that there is at least something to the Shroud of Turin. There's just too much preponderance of inexplicable things about it that but this is going to talk about the conspiracy, the to debunk it, that they still bring up. Anytime you bring up a Shroud of Turin, what do they say? Oh, it's Middle Ages because it's been carbon dated. Except, why is that still persisting? Why do people bringing that up when
carbon
the people
dated
who did
to
it
repair after the fire?
Exactly, and the fact that narrative is still what everybody thinks of, and even though the people have come out and said that they no longer stand by that, but that information is still being suppressed. That's been debunked. That it's the carbon dating itself has been debunked. But anyway, so we're going to talk about that next week. Does that sound like I have enough meat on the bones to make a show? Okay,
absolutely. That one.
I think so.
Okay, so that's next week. Is our conspiracy to debunk the Shroud of Turin? It's going to be next week, and then we'll decide what the next week's going to be. We're going to make this is a makeup episode, so instead of week skip, we're going to do 3 in a row, and then we'll be back on schedule. Is that okay with you guys? All right. So, all right, we'll see you next week with that topic. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. We decided Tartaria is impossible. It's in the middle. And we will see you all next week. Thank you all for coming. Everyone. Let me see if there's any chats that we need to. Okay. All right. Got that one. The Hollow Earth theory. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. And Giants. We actually covered Giants. That's in our back catalog. Look that one up.
Did we do Argotha?
Right. Anyway.
Argotha.
What is that?
the lands beyond Antarctica.
Oh,
that would be
yeah. Antarctica's a
would that
big
be Hollow
ice-
Earth theory, or is that?
No. That Antarctica has an ice wall, and you know.
Yeah.
I try not to show my bias right now, but if you go to Antarctica, there's an ice wall, and then there's other lands behind it that we have treaties with. They don't want to be discovered, and whatever.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, we do know that you're not allowed to fly
the uncivilized tribe of
So.
park whores.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lost mythical
All right, since we
tribe.
degenerated. All right, we degenerated, so we're going to end it now.
Let's get the hell out of here.
All right, thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Contribute to your
Bye,
local
everybody.
parkour.
Yeah.